but you brought up a good subject, and I want to circle back to. I introduced you as a somatics person, but also you touched on, and I think it's such a main part of what you offer is how you. I, I have been around your languaging long enough to know that that is part of what you are gifting people when you work with you. You help people be able to speak and talk. It's not just about the stories you might be holding, but it's also that communication that helps
Hmm.
you unwrap, unpack, and have these difficult conversations often, even though they might not be difficult, they're difficult to start and
Right.
navigate. I feel like that's one of the things you learn working with you and some of your
Mhm.
modalities. Could you speak on that a little bit?
Sure. So that some conversations, like you said, that we might identify or categorize as difficult or confrontational, um, come from conditioning, come from like the world we live in, and we're taught what we should do. We're taught to be nice. We're taught what we shouldn't do. And so oftentimes when we are so focused on what we think the other person expects from us, we're not fully present because we're wondering if we're playing by the rules correctly. We're wondering if we're going to disappoint our parents or others, or how it's going to reflect on them. So the whole notion here is in what I do is around pro, 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 producing, provoking, being in the space of authenticity where people are actually fully connected without shame or judgment of the human experience. That we have emotions, we have experiences. So how do we start to talk about that in a way where we're normalizing the anxiety or the fear or the doubt? And that's where the intimacy part comes in for me, because for years I was so afraid of speaking and connecting to people that I wouldn't look at them in the eyes. And right now you can't tell, but I'm looking at you in the eyes. And so when I'm looking at you on my Zoom in the eyes, it used to provoke a lot of unsettled anxiety for me, because I didn't know if you would be comfortable with being seen. And I certainly knew I was not comfortable being seen. So I would avoid eye contact at all costs. So when we're truly intimate and connected to our own experience and give ourselves the permission to feel anxiety, fear, doubt, and to be able to name it and not hide it and then feel like we're hiding it. So we're going to like talk really fast, or we're going to like armor ourselves in a certain way, or whatever. It shows up different ways for different people. For me, it used to be talking fast and like looking away and looking all over the place like this, which produces a very different quality of connection than me actually being okay that, sometimes I'm going to mess up in what I say. I'm not always going to be clear, but I'm going to, when I'm in conversation with people like you're going to give me the opportunity to actually pause, start over. We can give ourselves permission to be human. I can look at you in the eyes. I'm not worried about how I'm showing up so much. Of course, I want to do a good job here and be cohesive and articulate, but I'm not in performance anxiety because I'm able to name it sometimes. Sometimes I get nervous and this happens, and that we can move through the fear rather than having it be a stop. Like we stop because we have the fear. And it takes practice and time. Um, and yeah, that's basically in a nutshell the type of work that I do in organizations and how I lead my organization. It's also how I parent, it's how I coach, that we give visibility and words to what happens in the human experience, so we know it's normal and we can move in different ways and have new possibilities and choices given to us.